welcome, friends. Yes, it's been doing plenty of that over the course of the last couple weeks. How about that? A little snow, even for those of you down on the Gulf Coast. Hello, friends. Welcome, welcome. It is lovely to kick off the new year with you here. Hopefully I've got all of the things working properly, but I'd sure love to know that you're here, that it sounds okay, that you can hear my voice, and that you can hear the guitar just right too. It's always the how much we tilt the microphone thing going on. You can see the live chat over there, hopefully on the side. I've sent a couple of things in there already. For those of you who have not done this with me before, please, whatever Google property you use, whether it's Gmail or Google Drive or what have you, simply log into that and you can join the live chat. I may not recognize your username, but depending on what we've got going on, I should be able to at least recognize some of you and be able to say hello. And when you do pop in the chat, I always ask where people are from as well as how does it sound. So all of those things are in play tonight. I'd love to know where people are listening from, where we're tuned in from. I'm going to just take a quick browse around here and make sure that everything's okay. It says we've got a few viewers in the house, and that's wonderful. Looks like the stream connection is good. All right, I'm going to say that's a good thing too. Is a lot on the agenda tonight. I've got lots of things to share with you, and I've also got a somewhat recalcitrant phone battery going on my camera, so it might be a little bit less than my normal extended play kind of thing tonight. Amy and Betsy are here. Yay! I am sure that I will hear y'all singing from snowy Chesapeake. Snowy? There is snow on the ground there, is there not? How crazy is it that there's like snow has been on all of the 50 states already this winter, and that does not happen very often. I'm sure the scenes that we were seeing of people like cross-country skiing in the French Quarter in New Orleans, that was kind of wild. David, good to see you. How are things in Bedford tonight? It's lovely to have you here. I appreciate it so much. And probably there's a little snow on the ground in Bedford too, because I know the Blue Ridge has been getting snowed on a lot. So I'm going to start off tonight with a couple of pieces from Something Worth Standing For. But tonight is the first of this year's concerts where I'm going to be celebrating the 30th birthday of my debut record, Traveler. Which, yeah, I'm having trouble wrapping my head around that. I am not, however, having any trouble wrapping my head around playing some of those songs, and it's fun to do so. But I thought, there's always some little context of the times thing going on here, and here's a little context of the times for you tonight. I actually, I've been doing a lot of songwriting activities lately between teaching it and mentoring and being involved with co-writing with veterans and doing all kinds of stuff. So it's sort of like the whole songwriting process on the brain. So you may very well hear tonight me talking about various different bits of songwriting things. One more thing before we get started, for those of you who like to do these things, I am super grateful if you are so inclined and want to donate tonight. Thank you. It is not required. I'm happy to have you here and be connected human to human through these crazy satellites and all of the rest of it. But if you so choose, the donate link is up there at the top of the chat too, and that's awesome. So songwriting, sometimes, I go through these phases where, I'll write a lot of songs if I've got a deadline in a project, like an album. I write a lot in a hurry. And then I'll go through a year where I don't really write much of anything. I write down a lot of things, and I sing a lot of things into my voice memos and play a lot of guitar riffs, but I've got a pile of stuff. It's time to start working through the pile of stuff. This is actually the closing piece to Something Worth Standing For, which was an album where I walked into the studio not as well prepared as I should have been. And I've been working with my bandmate Les Thompson for a very long time, and Les has been very encouraging of my songwriting quality over the years. And when I walked in there, I was a dad of a 2-month-old baby, so I hadn't slept much. And my bass player friend, Sean Kelly, who was supposed to be part of the ensemble recording, had to back out because he'd been diagnosed with multiple myeloma. So I was kind of in this whole crazy space of like, I don't have these songs finished. I got ideas, but and Les said, "Don't worry, man. Bring it in the studio. The 4 of us will pound it out. It'll work out okay. Don't worry. There's good stuff here. We'll make it work." So I trusted him, but I also went digging through my own record collection looking for bits of inspiration from people who had lived through their own hard times and gone on to become legends of American music. Folks like the Carter Family and Woody Guthrie and this young Mississippi blues guitarist by the name of Robert Johnson. Now, Robert Johnson is not the sort of thing you would necessarily think of as inspiration for folk music, but I actually found that I was drawn to the 2 CDs that I had of the various takes and outtakes of his only recording sessions. I mean, Robert Johnson, his legacy is mostly that of legend and myth and mystery, and these 2 recordings, 2 sessions that are on CD. So I was thinking about this one particular Robert Johnson song that every band ever does, full throttle, all the way pedal to the metal. And my songwriting exercise was, what would that song be like if I almost made like an audio negative of it? Like, instead of being like full on rocking the whole time, what would happen if it was like, just this little bit? And as I started noodling around with it, I wound up finding new lyrics to it that sort of more fit my time and my story. And it became its own piece at the end. But I still give all the credit to Robert Johnson. Sign marks the way. Came to a crossroad, no sign marks the way. This great darkness gathering, I know I can't stay. Stand at a crossroad, don't know where to turn. Stand at a crossroad, don't know where to turn. Feel the heat at my back while our house burns. Crossroads Revisited, from something worth standing for. Okay, how's the balance between the guitar and the voice? I have a sneaking suspicion it will keep changing as I keep changing guitars. I have 4 of them out here tonight because I can. I don't need to put them in the van to take them anywhere. They don't need to go out in the cold, and neither do you, and I like that very much. So if you're just tuning in and joining us, hello, welcome. Please hop on in, join the chat, say hello. Right now we've got an all Virginia crowd, so I've got a sneaking suspicion that won't last very long. And I am drinking water like crazy because, as David notes, it has been cold. 0 this morning. I haven't seen 0 on the thermometer in quite a long time. Been a pretty cold week. And, I guess it's good because we do need to have winter every once in a while. But I think to myself that I haven't complained about it too much because I've actually missed seeing the snow and the brightness off of the snow. But 0's a little bit... Well, I can't say it's a little bit much. It's a little bit not enough. How about that? But with all the jokes aside, I suppose there is some reasoning for it too. For these are the times we're living in.
Hurricane flags flutter and warning the highway to high ground. Unmoved all morning, the least of the least. Phantoms in plain view, begging a ride, begging for rescue from under the bottom line. Onto the TV they're suddenly seen, looking through you and me, bored like each one of us, naked and crying, somehow left behind. Hope sputtered and dying, scattered like matchsticks, flood waters preordained, tempest-filled teacup, the driftwood of Pontchartrain. Call out for mercy, but there's no answer when we ask how it went so wrong. Can you believe these times we're living in? Can you believe these times we're living in? Can you believe these times we're living in? Somehow overheated, the road to salvation as we lose our grip with each revelation of unholy deals, fleecing the faithful, shattering vows, cracking the crucible to steal from the people. Was that Jesus' teaching? We recite the words, but lose their meaning. The princes and pundits, cloaked in theocracy, while thieves in the temple are looting our liberty. Is this what it comes to? Power and preference, executive privilege, for or against us, wrapped in the flag, discredit
Thank you, David. I appreciate that. Appreciate it very much that y'all are here tonight. Cheers to your good health and your good company, and to all of our heating systems on this very chilly night. So, I'm of course, I am so happy that y'all are here. I would love to be a less well-kept secret. So if it's sounding good and everything is balanced and there's no stuttering, it seems like everything is going on pretty well here. Please don't be bashful about taking a minute to tell your friends, whether it's on Facebook or Blue Sky or whatever it is that you're using. Just share the link and say, hey, we're in here having a good time. Come on over. It would be lovely to have some more ears, more followers, more people, more humans in my community of connection through this crazy life and music that I've been blessed with. And that life and music has certainly led me to a lot of places that 15-year-old me never imagined, shredding away on my Strat in my bedroom. It has been now, let me see if I've got this lined up, 30 years since this young man here stood in that field and posed for pictures for this record. It's kind of interesting because that's actually Harper's Ferry from Maryland that you can sort of see the outline of behind me in that picture. And that field now is just practically a town, just completely developed. Houses everywhere, subdivisions, cul-de-sacs, the whole 9 yards. That's near Brunswick, Maryland. And I was thinking kind of, wow, all of the things that I have seen since this record came out. And, of course, the Philmont General Store doesn't look quite like that anymore, although I'm happy to report that 30 years later, it is still the Philmont General Store. But this album came about with the help of a lot of friends, and one of them is the drummer here in this picture. His dad and my dad taught school together. Matt and I were friends for as long as I can pretty much remember. But we really became closer friends when we started playing music together. And here we are jamming with our friend Scott in his basement. A few years after that, here we were, wild men with Nor'easter. For those of you who have heard about the Nor'easter project, I think we're all of about 21 or 22 in these pictures. And then after Nor'easter broke up and I went off to college, we had another band that was basically a bar band making money on weekends that put me through school. So he and Daryl, the bass player here, who I was a year older than us, but I grew up with him too, they came down and were my rhythm section on Traveler. And neither of them had been to Virginia before, and I took them up on a day off. We went up on Skyline Drive. So there's a lot of history to this project for me. And looking back on it is a lot of fond memories too. What's interesting is that I still get to play songs from this record. Actually, we've been recording one with my bandmates in the studio, for those of you who've been following along with the studio project. And I've been sort of tickled that songs that I wrote half my life ago are still things that people want to hear. So this year, as Traveler turns 30, I'm revisiting the catalog and playing some of the lesser heard chestnuts, because that's what these live streams are so good for. You come to a show, there's a lot of people sitting there and they want to hear their favorite songs, and there's new people who, your favorite songs are your favorite songs for a reason. But I get to do different things, and of course songs mature over time too. It's kind of funny, as I was rehearsing a bit for tonight and a couple of the songs, and it's like, well, I play that a little different, and what I always tell my songwriting students is that a song is like a really nice car, and how you arrange it, who you play it with, the way that you do it, whether it's electric, acoustic, whatever, is kind of where you choose to drive it. Still the same car, but the view is totally different, right? So I'm going to do a couple of tunes from that record tonight too, because it only makes sense. I'm not seeing a whole lot of activity in the chat, so I'm just crossing my fingers that there's still people here. And by the way, if there's something in particular you might want to hear tonight, we might be able to fit it in before my phone camera goes away on me. We'll see how that all works. Anyway, this is one I wrote about living here in rural Virginia, but it's also a little bit of a nod to where I grew up in rural eastern Connecticut too. So this one's called Still Home to Me.
Tan young man rides an old John Deere, 600 acres dried up this year. Long way to go to his first cold beer tonight. A young girl waits at the 5 and 10, flowered sundress and hair in the wind. She don't have a lover and it seems a sin to me. And at 6 o'clock on a Saturday night on the streets of my hometown, radio plays the same song we heard all summer long down that old quarry road. Don't miss much, but you still miss it all, 'cause still it's home to me. A cold wind blows in October time, leaves blow across the county line, and folks think back to better times in life. When everyone watched the home team play lost football games on Thanksgiving Day, the whole town met in a church to pray for luck. And at 6 o'clock on a Saturday night on the streets of my hometown, radio plays the same song we heard all summer long down that old quarry road. Don't miss much, but you still miss it all, 'cause still it's home to me. Used to be they'd work in the mills till cows came home and clocks stood still. Now they sit out front getting drunker still all day. Main Street looks just like it did, stores all closed and lights all dead. Still see that so clear in my head today. And at 6 o'clock on a Saturday night on the streets of my hometown, radio plays the same song we heard all summer long down that old quarry road. Don't miss much, but you still miss it all, 'cause still it's home to me. And at 6 o'clock on a Saturday night on the streets of my hometown, radio plays the same song we heard all summer long down that old quarry road. Don't miss much, but you still miss it all, 'cause still it's home to me. Still it's home to me.
Yay. All right, we have a couple of requests, and the good thing is I don't have to do any work to make extra space in the list. Leslie and Phil, it's great to see you here too. And Maureen, how nice that you came by too. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And yes, I am chatting up songwriting things a little bit tonight because, all my various students working on different things have got me thinking about it for sure. So I'm going to do something that I don't often do here. One of the things that was kind of not unique about Traveler, but that phase of my life, you know. I always joke that you have your whole life to write your first album's worth of songs, and while that's not really my first album, because the Nor'easter Project had happened a few years before that, but it was the first time that I was like, you know, the front guy, the solo singer, songwriter, and all of that. And a lot of the songs that I was writing came from, golly, from grad school at UMass, but also from spending a summer out at Woods Hole on the Cape Cod. And I had my guitar with me a lot, and you know, we partied hard all summer, and of course I had my guitar in my hands a lot. And sometimes I just wrote music, and I still just write music sometimes, but I don't very often perform things where I never wrote any words. Interestingly enough, when I recorded Traveler, there's, I think, 4 instrumentals on there, and one of them is the one that opens all of my vidcasts. Coyote Moon Over This Red Land is one of the pieces from Traveler. But the piece that closes the album is called For This Time, and I really wanted it to be kind of it's a mood piece, right? And it's pretty and all of that, and I wanted to do it with an electric fretless bass. You know, I'd been listening to Jaco Pastorius or something. I was like, man, I want to have a little bit of that sound on this record. So Michael Delala, my dear friend who now lives in Colorado, was producing the record. And he had a good friend who played electric fretless, and so Jim Pusey came and played the tune. And crazily enough, several years later, Jim took his own life, and so now every time I play this song, I sort of think about how beautiful it is that we get the moments that we get, however hard they might be, and grateful for all of the things that we draw breath for in this moment. It's called For This Time. the demo tape with cookies. Yeah, quite a start to my music career, huh? How absolutely wild all of these things are, looking back. And you know, talk about coming along at sort of a maybe a good time. You know, emails started happening about the time that my career was starting, and the internet, and like people could actually have websites through companies that would give you websites. And there was a big corporation back then that was eager to become the third place in your life. First place is home, second place is work, third place is where you hung out with your friends. And amazingly enough, that place was Starbucks. And there were, at one point around the time my first album was out, and then when my second album was coming out, Where This River Runs, there were 10 or 11 Starbucks here in the Mid-Atlantic that were having music, singer-songwriters, traditional folk, one night a week. And people would come in, and I built a pretty good audience of people, and many of whom have stuck with me for all of these years since, which is crazy. And I am so grateful that y'all have been crazy enough to do that. But, you know, those were different times, and I was lucky enough to be putting out CDs right around the time when it became affordable enough to release your own discs. So, shifting gears. It's actually also been 5 years since my Treasures in My Chest album, my most recent project, came out. And I am thinking of my cousins in Ireland tonight as they get ready to have that storm that everybody got down south has now crossed the ocean, and it has picked up a mighty evil wind to it. It's going to hit the western shore of Ireland in the morning with like 100-mile-an-hour winds, and that is crazy. They never get weather like that. So for my cousins in Ireland, in County Cork and County Carlow, and up in the north of Ireland, in Antrim and down, I'm definitely looking for word that everything is okay with y'all tonight. So here's one dedicated to all of those family left behind when my ancestors came here. Left a home they'd known for a stranger's shore, hope and hunger for one chance more. Irish blessings and American ways, glasses raised to the hearts that break, gathered at the door to see them go. Of the rest of their lives we'll never know. Hold on tight, storms on the ocean. Hold on tight, storms on the ocean ahead. Door slammed in your face with the love that remains. Left behind, I never let go in my heart and mind of all their prayers and desperate dreams. Left behind, forever change once you cross that line. The great divide that lies between leaving and left behind. Slips from sight. The packet in his belly is his only chance at someone else's promised land. 1 foot down in front
front of the other, one foot down in front of the other. Hey, hey. Down the wall rising in your face with love that remains. Left behind, left behind. I never let go in my heart and mind of all their prayers and desperate dreams. Left behind, forever change once you cross that line. The great divide that lies between leaving and I left behind. Leaving and I left behind. Face in the morning sun, another journey has just begun. For time is a river and a river flows through a mother's love toward the letting go. Don't turn back even if you wanna. Can't turn back even if you wanna. Hey, hey. The way ahead is yours to claim with the love that remains. Left behind, left behind. I never let go in my heart and mind of all their prayers and desperate dreams. Left behind, forever change once you cross that line. The great divide that lies between leaving and left behind. 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 Paratunes from Treasures in My Chests. Now, that guitar is the loud guitar, and I'm expecting if there was any time when the guitar was louder than the voice, that might be the time. So do please feel free to let me know if it's still balanced out okay. I suppose while I'm changing guitars here, it's a good time to do the usual bits of business. If you're here for the first time, I would love it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have had maybe one new subscriber every week or two for the last, 20 years, whatever it is. At some point, maybe I'll actually get where they say that you if you get 1,000 subscribers, you get more royalties or something, and that would be nice. I would take that. I would definitely not complain about that. The other thing that would be really wonderful if you were willing to do it, if you get my emails you already knew about tonight, but if for some reason you're not on my email list, I promise you it's only one email a month, if that. But there are no algorithms, no broligarchs, no anything but your spam filters for us to work around, and somehow that seems mild compared to all the other challenges to stay connected these days. So if you're willing to do that, thank you. I appreciate that very much. And of course, this. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I've seen the notification alarms going off here and there, and I am grateful for that because it makes all the other things possible. So thank you for that. The link is also up there in the top of the live chat if you're so inclined, and if you're the type who likes to send a check, you can certainly do that too. It's all there at that same link. There's a couple of other things that I was having on my mind tonight, and one of them is, of course, let's be honest. Most of us, our ancestors, did not get invited to come here. They did not get permission to come here. They came. It has been that way since the beginning, and most everyone who, once they were here, wasn't all that keen about welcoming those following. It really feels like we were struggling with an empathy deficit in this country like I haven't really seen in my entire life. And at some point, I hope that we find that we are all human beings with the same kinds of DNA and the same kinds of hopes and fears, and
There are people who go through hard things in their early life and turn out to be less than stellar. And then there are those who are lucky enough to be born into a whole lot of privilege and a whole lot of umbrella of safety. And, it is one doctor's diagnosis, one car wreck, one slip and fall, one accident away from having your whole world turned upside down. We're all humans, and we all there, but for the grace of God go we. And it feels tonight like one song about people coming here from other places deserves another. And leave it to my lovely wife to point it out that it was this one that ought to be here tonight. If you feel like singing along at home, and I'm not talking directly to you, Amy and Betsy, but I am, and any of the rest of you who'd like to chime in, if you haven't chimed into the live chat to say hello, I'd love to know you're here. We have like a completely Virginia. I've never seen it be all Virginia the whole this much of the show. That's kind of cool. But it's nice when people come checking in from all kinds of other places too. Wherever you are, I hope that you're warm, and I hope that you sing, and I don't care if you sing on key, because I can only hear you in my mind, and you sound awesome there. Searchlights glare and there's gunshots and shouting, but somehow I slip by, only God knows why. The trucker dropped me at the Arkansas line. Where I come from is where the drugs run, and the men come with money and lust for honest living. Hope God's forgiving, for I left These shoes from Something Worth Standing For. Another one of my students is in the house. Alex, I'm so happy to see you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad that it sounds like something. So I'm going to do another one from Treasures in My Chest because, I don't know, sometimes songs wind up in my live stream set lists for all of the most bizarre reasons. And I'm not much of a finger picker. I always say that up front. I can do it. I'm not the most comfortable doing it. It's okay when I'm doing it and I'm not singing. Why I chose to write the title cut to Treasures in My Chest with finger picking, finger-style guitar, moment of insanity? I don't know. I'm not really sure. And I have to say, sometimes inspiration comes from the weirdest places. I found a piece of music before the project really got started. One of the things that helped start me writing an album of songs inspired by my ancestry was finding a piece of music, published music, in a chest at my parents' house that had my name on it. And it was published in 1906. And it was my great-grandfather who did it. He wrote a song for his wife, my great-grandmother Margaret. And I thought, I knew that he had been a fiddler. I knew that he had emigrated from Scotland. Nobody invited him either, I'm quite sure of that. And this was the first time that I had ever had any encounter with any other songwriters in my family. And here's my great-grandfather with the same name, who not only wrote a song, but he got it published. That's really crazy. And so I can't read music very well, and I certainly can't read piano music, but I could tell the key signature was A flat, which is not something we guitar players write in very often unless we're feeling somewhat sadistic or just, love the sound of the capo in the absolute worst position on the guitar at the first fret. So I got to playing around a little bit and sort of trying to figure out what it sounded like. But my sister plays piano and she reads, and so she made me a video at her house in Maine and sent it to me over Facebook, and I'm like, holy crap, that's pretty cool. I mean, it sounds kind of Victorian because that's when it's written, but damn, I mean, it's not just like 3 chords of nonsense or like silent movie kind of Joplin-esque stuff. There's like something to it. So I started writing the title cut, Treasures in My Chest, because of finding that. And then when I finally finished the song, it took like 3 years. Maureen, I'm speaking to you now that these things don't always happen super quickly. For anyone who's interested in the songwriting process, yes, sometimes they come in 20 minutes like A Dram to the Holidays did. But sometimes they take years. And it was because I had cousins that I had never met. My grandfather's sister was an opera singer of some renown, and she was the black sheep of the family. She went to the West Coast. The rest of my family stayed on the East Coast, and lo and behold, she had kids who turned out to be, one was an opera singer herself, another was a jazz singer who reached some acclaim in Southern California in the late 60s, made some albums with some really good people, and she wrote songs. And it was one of Great Aunt Margaret's grandkids coming to visit that really set the whole thing into motion. And I realized sometimes you just have to wait for events to unfold for you to have that last verse of the song. So the song is called Treasures in My Chest, but I had my sister play Margaret as the opening piece to it. And as a songwriter, I sort of joke that I co-wrote it with my great-grandfather because at the end of it, I borrowed his melody from Margaret to end the song, but I used the same chording that I did in the chorus. So I guess the two Andrew McKnights wrote something together over 115 years.
Scent of cedar rises as I open up the lid. Childhood things and so much more, darkness kept safe hidden, and it holds my stories like a sailor's prized possessions while he's out at sea. Wrinkled scraps of paper, faded photographs, my name on a manuscript, notes upon the staff, lines unfolding on these pages I am holding, written long ago. Oh, are the gifts running through my veins and fingers on the strings as they flow from these treasures in my chest? Timeless rhythm beating steady in my breast, memories and hand-me-downs present from the past, countless treasures in my chest. Pieces of this puzzle of how I came to be, family names and question marks, somehow part of me. For now I'm climbing up this tree, exploring branches that I see for the first time. Oh, Samaritans and saints, rogues and renegades all come alive from these treasures in my chest. Timeless rhythm beating steady in my breast, memories and hand-me-downs present from the past, countless treasures in my chest. Message tone awakens me from my imagining, connections in the here and now that music brought to me. For they've sat here at my table raising toasts and breaking bread, and it was real. Oh, we are bound by magic twists, proof that they existed now revealed from these treasures in my chest. Timeless rhythm beating steady in my breast, memories and hand-me-downs present from the past, countless treasures in my chest. I'm rich with treasures in my chest.
Key of A flat and all. Thank you. Thank you all so very much for being here tonight. Carl, it's good to see you. Glad you're here too. I still can't believe that it's been 30 years since my first record came out. Making albums was such a joy. You know, the whole process, not only of writing the songs, but how you arrange them, how you line them up on the album. I got an email this week from the company that hosts my website saying they have a new deal on pressing vinyl, right? I'm like, okay, vinyl's always a cool idea, right? 100 albums for like, $10 an album or something like that. But I've never worked with that format. I've never had to keep an album, 22 minutes aside. None of my albums are that short, so I'd be cutting stuff off of them. So while vinyl sounds like a cool idea, I'm probably not going to do it. And really, these days, albums are just not a thing that people listen to very often. Spotify playlists, music to vacuum by kind of thing. And I'll get 3/1000ths of a cent every time somebody plays my song in that playlist, Alex, thank you. Thank you for noticing the thumb, man. I'm telling you, it's so hard for me to do that. I can play more easily other songs. For some reason, playing that one, I don't know if it's the tension of the strings with the capo at the first fret or what it is about that. But yeah, notice how the thumb is kind of out there so the fingers aren't running into it. At least there's that, right? So I'm going to play another one from Traveler, because after 30 years, it's kind of fun to rediscover some of these things. And I rewrote the song a bit because there are some things in it that are kind of dated, and then there are some things in it that are completely timely. And it's killing me that things that I wrote a long time ago are timely now. I do not want them to be. And yet here we are. By the way, the air is so dry here. I know I drink a lot of water during a live stream anyway, but right now, this is like 5% humidity or whatever it is out there. Man, I'm guzzling water by the gallon all day long. And of course, when you start singing, it gets to be a whole lot more too. So anyway, I took my 2020 rewrite of this song and rewrote it again a little bit, but I found that some of the original words actually worked better than they did in 2020, but anyway, I'm going to give a go of it. See the candidates upon my TV screen, running for the power play, with raging slogans scrolling through my feed, that only they know what's best for me. Stage, puppets in a show, taunting just like all the school kids do. The only character I see is the roles they try to play in a script the money masters wrote. Mommy, will it rain on 11 Election Day from Traveler. I hope y'all are enjoying yourselves okay. I've still got 2 or 3 songs left, so if you haven't done so yet and you want to tell some people what we're doing in here, I'd sure be grateful to reach some new ears. Thank you for doing that. I suppose now would be as good a time as any to catch you up on a little something. For those of you here in Northern Virginia, you've seen that the band has been busy in the studio for the last few weeks, and actually we've recorded one of the songs that I did on Traveler. We've done a completely different arrangement of it, and I love it. I love hearing it. I love playing it. And so the last time that we played at Earps was sort of a short notice show, and Les was still recovering from shoulder surgery, so he's just starting to play the bouzouki again. His banjo playing is back in fine order. And not only that, our buddy Tony Denikis is opening the show, and it's going to be a great, great night. I do hope that you will make plans to come to Fairfax if you can and make a night of it, make a weekend of it. It is going to be a very fine time, and it would be lovely to have you all there. So, taking care of another request, this one from a more recent or less dusty CD. This one is actually the first, I think it was Beyond Borders was the first album recorded at Les's studio when he built the new studio building. I recorded my second album up in his attic studio, and he built the building. And I know Danny Nicely was working on a project there around the same time, but Beyond Borders, my fourth album, before the band Beyond Borders, which adopted the moniker, we did this album there too. So, and yeah, Amy, you know, when I was talking about that empathy deficit, I was thinking about, you know, how hard is it going to be to find kindness for strangers and kindness for others and kindness for the thems and the theys and the those others. It's way too easy to be doing the othering thing right now, man. We're all just human beings. We're all just trying to get safely home. We all got people that love us, I hope. Never lose faith in the fact that those good things still add up, and they sure as hell still matter. Rush hour traffic going nowhere. Merge becomes a contact sport. Frustration boiling over. Tempers growing short. The suited man bucks the trend at the toll booth. Lets the grandmother in. He knows the people that we share the road with have loved ones waiting just like him. Good things matter long after they're done. Good things matter each and every one. Good things matter no matter how small. Good things matter to us all. Tear Street boy behind a playground fence, with teams picked, game in full swing. His braces hold him back from what his glasses show. He is not good at this thing, but the bigger boy who plays a game with natural skill and grace says, here's my bat, take my place. He knows the final score is more than runs across the plate by the pinch hitter's smiling face. Good things matter long after they're done. Good things matter each and every one. Good things matter no matter how small. Good things matter to us all.
Let a child know she's been heard. Ask a wallflower to dance. Give mistakes a second chance. Smile at strangers on the street. Share the table where you eat. Leave the extra change behind. Fight fear, be colorblind. Kind words to chase the gray. When things are hard, find a way. It all comes back someday. Good things matter long after they're done. Good things matter, each and every one. Good things matter, no matter how small. Good things matter to us all. Good things matter. I choose to believe that good things matter as more now than they ever have. Lots of family and friends to be worried about in these times. And our veterans. I've had the privilege of working with some of our wounded warriors coming back through a wonderful program called Music Therapy Retreats, where we use songwriting as therapy to help them reframe and rewire their stories. I'm delighted that my bandmates saw fit to want to record one of those songs. So one of them is going to be on the Beyond Borders album project. And it's not one that I do a whole lot, but it's a lot of fun to play with a band because it's kind of a rocker. These retreats, I get paired up with one-on-one with a veteran, and the project is basically you sit for a couple hours and you talk. And I generally listen and ask questions and write a lot of stuff down, but I listen for the way that they say certain things. There are certain phrases that are part of their narrative, part of their identity, and I do my best to musically frame it in something that's in a style that they like. And this is actually the first song that I wrote with a vet, and he was a fellow from upstate New York. And it turned out, even though he was a large guy, and he looked like he looked like a rural American, but so am I. And it turned out after a few minutes that we had a lot in common. And so as he was telling me his story, he had this sort of way of sort of deadpanning something and then kind of giving you this little grin. And he was talking about in Iraq how he'd been blown up like 6 times, in a vehicle and, nearby to... It's just crazy stuff, man. It's like hard to even imagine. I'm like, dude, I'm just so glad you're here, you made it through all that. And as he was telling me his story, a lot of it had to do with his dad having been a Marine and never been able to have a relationship with his dad until he had been through combat himself. And then his dad opened up to him. And while he was away in Iraq and Afghanistan, his young wife had his baby, and then decided she didn't want to be married anymore. And so part of his struggle had been to try to connect his family, and he did it. And sort of his story wound up, like as he was telling me these things, it's like, man, dude, you're like a bridge, man. You're a bridge between generations, and you held a bridge for your troops to retreat across. But you're as a human being, you're a bridge. And as we were kind of working on the idea for his song, we both realized that we had this common experience of, sort of rocking down a rural road, the top down and the radio blasting or something, and kind of in the mood for like a Tom Petty song or something, So it sounds pretty cool to hear it with the band too, and you'll hear it in Fairfax on the 30th of March, but I'm going to play it for you solo right now. It's called The Bridge. seasick, couldn't understand why the vet back home never spoke of what he saw. He'd always held it in and explode and withdraw. This bridge is crumbling, troubled waters are pulling me in. Hold the line by a little more time. Take my hand, you had my back. Now it's my turn to fix these cracks in this bridge that we're walking over. My baby girl's face like a candle in the black. In my mind somehow I gotta find my way back. I've seen 1,000 things that I can't forget, and 1,000 things haven't stopped me yet. This bridge ain't crumbling, troubled waters are pulling me in. Hold the line by a little more time. You take my hand, you had my back. Now it's my turn to fix these cracks in this bridge that we're walking over. I'm holding on to the locket that helped get me here. Funny how something broken could hold back such fear. We gather round a table this Thanksgiving Day. I see my dad and my daughter face to face. But this bridge ain't crumbling, no troubled waters are pulling me in. Hold the line by a little more time. You take my hand, you had my back. Now it's my turn to fix these cracks in this bridge that we're walking over. On this bridge that we built to walk over. Walking over.
I love it how it's still ringing when I put it on the stand. Before I go, thank you ever so much, friends, family, for being here with me tonight, for helping to work our way through this tight spot we find ourselves in, to keep me company here at home when the road is kind of... I'm glad I wasn't doing my my historic thing of going and touring the Gulf Coast or Texas at this time of year. I've been actually snowed in Texas 3 different tours. I guess it just it follows me around. They were talking about that snowstorm a couple weeks ago, and how the biggest snowstorm that Dallas had ever seen was in 2010. I drove through Dallas from East Texas from doing a show the night before, right after that storm had happened, and yeah, it was kind of crazy. I guess I'm lucky. I've seen some stuff. I feel like I've been sort of especially lucky that I've been blessed with this life and music all these years, but I've sort of borne witness to a lot of really interesting stuff. Before I go tonight, let me say firstly thank you for those of you who haven't done so yet. If you wouldn't mind doing that, subscribe to the YouTube channel thing. I'd be super grateful for that. Thank you for being willing. And also, there's this. If you've not signed up for my email list, it would be lovely to have you there, because there's no oligarchs, no algorithms, no anything except spam filters to get around. And I do put some of my photos in there each month, and Of course, there's the tour dates and the live stream dates, so that even for the folks that I don't get to on the West Coast anymore, you're always welcome to tune in, and we make it possible to keep up with everything that's going on. So if you're willing, thank you. I greatly appreciate that. So I'm going to close with another one of those songs I talked about at the very beginning tonight, about something worth standing for, and how I wound up using some old folk songs as templates for my own things. And I'm going to close with one of those tonight. I've always heard this song done. I think the Carter Family was the first version I heard. Woody Guthrie made it famous. And it's just sort of like, I think the Kingston Trio did it, and it's like this sort of happy-go-lucky, sort of chesty kind of thing. And the tune is called Worried Man Blues, and it's the most ironic-sounding thing ever. And when I told Les I wanted to record it, he said, then make it sound worried. Okay, let's do like electric guitar and minor key banjo, and I'll rewrite the words. Let's see how that goes. And it came out a whole lot more worried, a little bit more like on point of what I wanted it to sound like. So you're welcome to sing along too. But most of all, thank you for keeping me company, each and every one of you tonight. Thank you too for your graciousness in the donations. I appreciate that a whole ton. Let me go ahead and put that up there one more time so you know where to find it. It's also up in the top of the chat. It helps keep the lights on and makes it possible for me to keep doing what I'm doing despite not being out on the road touring very much right now. So thank you for that. And on that note, Worried Man Blues. Went across the river, I lay down to sleep. Went across the river, and I lay down to sleep. Suddenly felt shackles on my dreams. 21 links, chain around my heart. 21 links, chain around my heart, and on each link, an initial. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried woman to sing a worried song. A worried now, and I don't know for how long.
a stranger land. Now I believe that I must make a stand. Sing us home, y'all. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried woman to sing a worried song. Worried now, and I don't know for how this land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me.
Thank you so very much, friends. Look forward to seeing you next time, February 20th, the Livestream concert. I hope you'll join me. I hope that we'll be able to spend a little time together once again. Thank you ever so much for your kindness and generosity tonight with your time, most of all. But thank you for helping make this crazy life in music possible. My students, yes, I look forward to seeing all of y'all next week. Wonderful to have you here. Thank you. I'm glad that I'm not just rotting in place, but aging somewhat, at least, unnecessarily deteriorating in place. Thank you, David. It's wonderful to have you all here tonight. When you go out, remember more than ever now, the world is watching you. Be kind to your good self first. Remember to take good care of your good self, and I will look forward to seeing y'all soon. Much love to you. Be safe. Be kind. Till next time.